really going to be something. But you know when my student, and usually the way it happens with me is another student will say, I think you'll have to talk to Travis. What's happening? Travis hasn't been showing up for class, okay? Or Ed failed an exam in a particular class, it is really bad. So then, you know, and here's where the minority student comes in. So I said, I want to talk to you. I'm not shy. I say, Linda, I want to talk to Ed and Travis. They come in. Ed, how are you doing? Well, I'm fine. But you failed this exam. Oh, you know about that? Yeah, I know about it. Okay, let's talk about it. All right, okay. So there's these critical times when something is about to, we're going to lose that student. Next. The students must learn to be bicultural. That means professional and minority. You stay the minority that you are, but when you're going into the mathematics and when you're talking mathematics and writing the papers and doing research, then you're the professional mathematician that you have to be. You have to be both. You have to be able to navigate both. A professional who happens to be a minority and not a professional minority. The student must be able to navigate both worlds and feel he, she belongs to both worlds. That's the hardest thing to do. Okay? I belong to both. There's a part of me as a mathematician that has nothing to do with minority. It has nothing to do with underrepresentation. It has nothing to do with the cities. It has to do with math and its beauty and its theorems, and it's just an incredibly exciting trip. Then there's the other part. And sometimes you can put them together, and sometimes they don't go together. But I'm going to keep both. Okay, next. Okay, the use of community. You know, there's a point here. You can't just deal with comfort level, as minority students do in junior high and high school. Becky's rice school story. So my daughter went to a school in Houston, a middle school. There was 1/3 black, 1/3 brown, 1/3 white. And they had 3 buses going to the Capitol on a trip. And the first bus was all black. And the second bus was all white. And the third bus was all brown. And when they came back, I said, Becky, how'd that happen? She goes, oh, nobody told us. We just decided to choose our own ways. If I had been principal, I wouldn't have let that happen. But the principal was, well, they're comfortable that way. And I said, but that's not the way the society is. Okay? You're going to have to force some integration here. Okay? 3 buses, 3 tables. Becky would say, Dad, what table do I sit at? Because I have to pick a table. And she says, well, I ended up picking the Hispanics because the other ones didn't want me. Okay? So I don't do that. When I do in our community, I have a mix. I have white, I have African American, I have Hispanic American, I have Native American. We all do the same things. If somebody wants to go eat tacos and somebody else wants to eat something else, okay, barbecue or something like that, we're all going to go. I say, you all decide, but we're going as a group. The next time we'll do the other one. But if I want to take any pride on anything, it's bringing the black and the brown and the red and the white together as a community. Because that's the community we work in. Okay? And the students know that I care about them. So if I come in strong like a father, they know that I care and that I'm really saying it for good reasons. So they may not like it, but you know, they benefit from it and they do it. Our big success, Donald teaching. Donald's African American. Donald's my PhD student, and he was spinning his wheels. And I said, Donald, take a break and go teach high school. He did. We got him in to teach high school. And he taught in a sort of a school that was really, really well integrated in Houston. And as an African American, he was particularly effective with the Hispanics, and nobody could understand it. He said, but you're so good with the Hispanics. He said, but I dealt with Hispanics at Rice. Some of my best friends were the Hispanics. So I can deal with the African Americans, but I can deal with the Hispanics too. That was success because he had been dealing with it. And when Donald went home to Dallas once, he said, his mother asked him, Donald, who's your best friend? And he says, Cristina Villalobos. And he says, Donald, don't they have any blacks there? He says, oh yeah, they got plenty of blacks. Cristina happens to be my best friend. Okay? Next. The community is not remedial. Amanda and Victor. I mean, Victor was undergraduate at Harvard, a superstar. Okay? Amanda was an undergraduate at University of Washington, superstar. And yet they need the community. Amanda and Victor, who are just getting their PhDs this year, will say, I needed your community, and they're superstars. It had nothing to do with grades. It had nothing to do with tests. It just had to do with the feeling of belonging and saying we're a part of this group that we're comfortable with. Well, when John Mellor Crummy comment is this, that we had a site visit, and I had the minority students, in fact, this was probably, you weren't there, I think it was the time, Don, before you came. And I had a minority students give presentations, and it was on the STC Science and Technology Center proposal. And they were so good. John Mellencrummy is from Princeton, and he has about 4 PhD students. And he came to me and he said, Richard, my students couldn't give those presentations the minority students gave. They're so polished. And one member of the site visit team said, they're not really minorities. Y'all must have been, really, really from this, really, really great background, and you didn't come from a minority background. And they were insulted, because indeed they were. Okay? And so the professional development, they take pride. That's self-esteem, that's confidence. Next. The summer program. I discuss things that most people won't touch. Okay? Sometimes I get in over my head, sometimes I don't. I'll talk about work habits, about attitudes, professional development. I don't hold hands and build wimpy dependent students. I do make people believe in themselves. A comment was asked a while back over there, that do you say negative things and positive things? I know when I can say negative things. I mean, they're positive. But if somebody says to me 2 + 2 is 17, I say, no, that's wrong. Okay? It's not going to destroy your self-esteem to tell you that 2 + 2 is not 17, or some other issue. In other words, I will correct and criticize as needed once I've gained the student's confidence and I feel the student can take it. But I won't do it at an early stage. I don't want to break the student. But the students that are senior graduate students, I go bam, 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 bam. Okay? At a majority school like Rice, if the minority student feels they've turned their back on their people, then they have a lot of problems. So what I let them do is involve themselves in outreach as needed. For example, I'll get a K-12 teacher and say, I want one of my students to talk to your whole class. Not mentor one-on-one or tutor one-on-one. Go talk to your whole class. And they go into the barrio or to the ghetto and they do it. And then they come back and they say, I've given to my people. And you have to do that. But my job is to not let them do too much. Next. A sensitive, reaching individual can help all students. You do not have to be black, brown, or a woman to help such individuals. Okay? I've shown that. And I think a lot of people have shown that across. When A&M had the highest percentage of African-American PhDs in chemistry for many years, and yet the mentor was a white male. Stanford had the same thing in physics. Again, the mentor was a white male. Okay. The department is the home of the graduate student and the faculty member. Warm or cold, it's home. And departments change. We have people coming to ask, can I have an office, a student in your department? Because my department is real cold. Okay? People don't talk to me. And I usually say, okay, you can share one of the offices with one of the students. And yes, that is still a student in the department, but they're into where all this activity is happening in our department. See, our department is 40% underrepresented minority and 55% women. Let's see, maybe we're almost through. You go through, well, okay, notable failures. Minority undergraduates enter intention of majoring. This is what Antonio was alluding to in engineering. And then they go away, okay, because of self-esteem issues. Graduate students come into PhD programs and leave with a master's degree. That's not considered, that's not success. We have Sloan Foundation dollars to work on that. Majority graduate students are left out of the more aggressive research. They often want to work for a student or a faculty member they're comfortable with, and they should be working with one that they're not as comfortable with. Next, things that work. Recruiting, good reputation, high retention rate, successes. Pam and Rachel are 2 African-American women who were my PhD students, and yet they didn't want to go to Texas. Rachel's from New Jersey, and Pam is from Kentucky. But when they came to Rice, they said, I have to go here. But they didn't want to go to Texas, but they did. Okay, okay. Here's a message from the students. I was going to give this talk to this distinguished group. My students got together and said, here are the things we would like for you to share with them. Mentoring is not something that you do from 2 or to 3 on Monday always, Wednesday and Friday. It's something that you do all the time, and in particular when the need arises and in the problem areas. We're not aware of the fact that we are being mentored or that we need mentoring, in fact. It is a part of our everyday experience and our professional training. Some faculty are terrible at mentoring. Not all faculty should be mentors. Okay, next. This is from an A-gap student. One of our students wrote this. There are a number of aspects of our A-gap, this is our community, that have contributed to my personal and professional development. The supportive, culturally diverse environment provides a forum for open discourse on topics ranging from real Texas barbecue to finite element analysis, from preparing the best guacamole to understanding the requirements for tenure. It is the open discourse and mutual respect within the A-gap community that gives me a sense of family within the university. Thus, when I stumble in my pursuit of academic excellence, I don't have to feel that I'm all alone. I will always know the A-gap community played a primary role in, persevering persevering through the PhD and beyond. Okay? So Don, that's for you. Okay, next. The program AGEP, formerly spent a summer with a scientist, was a key component through my years at Rice University in the development of my academic and personal skills. In the academic part, AGEP gave me the opportunity to present my work in a friendly environment and provided constructive criticism, allowed me to build self-confidence. In the personal part, AGEP played a key part. The group meetings once a week. Every Friday we get together and I meet with them. Provided the time to discuss personal and group issues that we did not feel open to discuss outside the group. Most of us were first generation and graduate students. We needed mentors, and at the same time we became mentors for the younger generations. Let's see what the next one is. To me, the AGEP community has been a shelter among the many frustrations and struggles of my academic life at Rice. It has provided me with warmth through friendship, nurture through the sharing of wisdom and knowledge, strength through encouragement and validation, and vision through the many activities by which the program has enriched my character as a scientist and as a professional. Let's see I think we're through. Yeah, see, I mean, you'll see this student where it says Ed. See, the admissions committee wouldn't accept this B student from a very good school. And yet he was really good, so I had to fight, and he's a star now. So there's a lot of cases of where I would take an individual student and I would look at the folder and I would go lobby for the student in our department or other departments. All right, I think that's basically it. Let's see what, yeah. So that's it.